So style is a meaningless word. What really matters is telling a story in regards to runway shows. A lot of people we deem stylish are only comfortable wearing things within the zeitgeist, and very few people will truly go against the grain and be true to themselves. Also, the crazy outfits on Insta don't exist in the real world. I'm more focused on what we wear day to day. Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't say that style is a meaningless word because style is just a descriptive word, right? Let me actually Google what the actual definition, like dictionary definition of style is. Let's see what it means. So, style is a particular procedure by which something is done, a distinctive appearance, typically determined by the principles according to which something is designed. And so, to me, it's not meaningless in the sense that we use style to describe kind of how someone dresses on a regular basis, which is kind of leans into what the actual definition of the word is. And so a designer having a style, I wouldn't say is meaningless. I think it's fine to have a style or a signature. Rick Owens has a style of the way he designs his clothing. So does Yoji Yamamoto. So does Phoebe Philo. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But telling a story is also good. I don't think it's necessary for everyone to tell a story because I think that different brands, different people, different designers, they have different objectives. Some designers just want people to wear a cohesive wardrobe. Some people are more artful with the way that they think about clothing. And I think all of that can exist all at once. And that's why something I love about the world and just, people in general is choice. We have choice. We have options. That's the good thing. If everyone thought the same and we all wore the same clothing, I think that would be when things would actually be very terrible. You know what I mean? I do agree with what this person is saying in terms of a lot of Instagram outfits don't exist in the real world. I do kind of find it strange when, like Instagram influencers wear these crazy over the top outfits that they would never be seen wearing in person. I think it's not really a good reflection of how they dress day to day. So I do find that kind of thing a bit odd sometimes. And I do understand what this person is saying in terms of focusing on the way that people dress day to day and how people actually exist in the real world versus on social media or online. That definitely, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. And I definitely agree with, partially, this is one of those things where I half agree, half disagree, where Kaio said, a lot of people we deem stylish are only comfortable wearing things within the zeitgeist. That's definitely true. Like, there are fashion people that only wear Margiela, like, not that there's anything, I don't want people to take this away. I don't want your takeaway to be that there's anything wrong with wearing these things. I'm making a point. Let me land the helicopter on the helipad. So, I think that some people only wear things that are very popular in a zeitgeist. So there are certain influencers that I see that only wear Margiela Tabbies and Issey Miyake on Plissé or Pleat Please and Rick Owens and like very like popular brands. But then what happens is people are like, oh my God, that person's so stylish and they're so stylish. And in my head, all I'm thinking is the way they dress is like a high fashion avant-garde mood board. There's nothing individual or remotely, I don't even think that person thinks about their style. I think they just saw a mood board somewhere and adopted the mood board as a personal style. So I definitely agree with that in the sense that a lot of people only wear things within the zeitgeist that they are in, and a few people truly go against the grain. That's like basically what I would call a fashion victim, right? Now, I can't critique those people strongly because I used to be that person, which is why I know this exists. And I see so many other influencers now that do it. There was a point in time when I first got into fashion where I thought that to be a fashion person, I have to look overly over the top avant-garde. So I would wear like crazy ass Yoji pieces that I definitely wouldn't wear now because it's not my style. But I would wear like the most over the top avant-garde stuff, and it would only be certain brands. Like it would be like Yoji, and it would be like really obscure like artisanal brands like Ziggy Chen and stuff. And that would be my way of being like, I'm so fashionable. Like you guys, like Because I wear Ziggy Chen and I wear Yoji. So, like, I'm definitely a fashion person. And so now that I've grown out of that and I don't do that anymore, I can see when people are doing it, and a lot of people do it. Like a lot of influencers do that. Like I'm genuinely looking at their style and being like, "There's no individuality to this. You literally look like a fashion mood board." So there's nothing wrong with those individual pieces, but if literally your personal style is the high fashion mood board, so on Monday it's tabbies with Rick Owens head to toe. On Tuesdays, that definitely means I guess we can call it a personal style, but it's kind of like half personal style, half like an Instagram mood board in a way. Let's see. Alyssa said, I once heard the people who look the least into fashion typically know a lot and are really into fashion. Yeah, that's also true. I also think that people that are the least into fashion have really interesting personal styles, right? I definitely think that is a thing. That definitely is a thing. But that's also a thing. So now when I buy clothing, because that's why I don't like to be a hypocrite. That's why I called myself out by saying I definitely did that when I first got into fashion. When I buy clothing, I have to ask myself so many questions. Like, are you buying this because you like it? Or are you buying this because you're going to wear this and people are going to be like, oh my God, Io's so stylish because he's wearing dot 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 brand, or Io's so stylish because he's wearing dot 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 thing? Or are you buying it because you actually really enjoy that and it's something that you can see yourself wearing 5, 10, 15 years from now? And I have to like really tell myself that yes, it's because you like it and it's not because of this. And I really have to think about it to make sure I'm not doing that, because I think when you're like a content creator or you make content, it's very easy to do that. It's very easy to fall into that. Or like I understand why influencers on Instagram fall into that, because you kind of play into what your audience wants, and then without even realizing it, you then become that person where you're just buying things that your audience will like, and it becomes a bit formulaic, and then you actually don't have personal style. Your style is what your audience expects you to wear and what your audience expectations of your style is. We're all once a victim of being that fashionable person, and you're niche enough to be cool. People who have Tom Ford coffee table bags. Tom Ford, outside of obviously the fragrances which made Tom Ford loads of money, um, the coffee table books, like I would love to look at the sale numbers of the Tom Ford coffee table books. There is no place I've been to where I don't see that black Tom Ford coffee table book. And I'm guilty too because I have it. um, but everywhere I go, like even outside of fashion, if there's anytime I go to like buy furniture, if especially if it's like a really nice fancy place, when they stage certain areas, there's always like a Tom Ford book and a Chanel book without fail. Always Tom Ford and Chanel. Those two books, the companies are eating, the publishers are eating crazy with those books. The Tom Ford and Chanel books, oh my God. Everywhere you go to view a property. If it's any sort of fancy property, they're going to have the Tom Ford and Chanel books there. It's like, damn. I wonder how many people, on average, based on people that own those books, how many people do you think have actually opened those books and read them in any sort of way? That would be a really interesting thing to try and figure out. My fashion hot take is that all black looks are most times unflattering and the color black isn't as versatile as they say. Also, black can lead you away from experimenting and developing personal style and taste for colors. Oh my God. I feel personally attacked. No, I'm joking. This is one of those hot takes that I agree and disagree with. I do think that, like, I literally just told you one of my friends wears black because he doesn't want to put too much thought. And it's not, he looks good wearing the black, by the way, but it's more just everything works with everything easily, so he doesn't have to think too much about the clothing. I do think it's definitely possible to wear black and have, like, personal style. And I don't think everyone that wears all black looks unflattering. Like, one of my friends who is my absolute goat is Diane Pernay, right? And Diane Pernay exclusively wears black. She doesn't wear the same thing all the time. She literally always changes like the coat, the jacket, the shoes, the trousers, the skirt, whatever. But she has a very distinctive aesthetic that I absolutely love. Like I absolutely love Diane's style. Like she is so cool. Like she is so like Diane is like basically Diane is how I thought everyone in fashion was, like in terms of like everyone in fashion has this like really distinctive aesthetic, and then you work in fashion, you realize, oh, it's actually just Diane. Like it's only Diane that's actually this cool, and everyone else is just not as cool as her. So there are people that I know personally who actually wear all black and they look cool as shit, and it's not like uninspired. It's not just like wearing plain ass like black pieces for like ease of wear. I don't think everyone is like that. But I definitely do agree to some extent that, you know, some people um don't like wearing black is a way that they can not develop a personal style and experiment with colors. That so I do think it's like it's true and not true. Like I agree and disagree. I think it's definitely true for some people, but not for everyone. But I definitely think it's true. I definitely think it's true. I definitely think even me personally, which is what I was joking around saying, oh my god, that personally attacked. I definitely think there are days when I just throw on black things because it's the easy thing to wear. But not all the time. Sometimes my all black outfits, like a lot of thought has gone into how I'm layering the pieces and stuff like that. But I do also think that as time has gone on, I started to wear more color. I think when I first got into fashion, this is probably because the first brand I got into was Yoji Yamamoto, and then I really got into Andy. That's probably why I was wearing all black all the time, and then Rick and stuff. But with time, I wear more color. I wear more color now. Someone said that you look like you just came from a funeral. Look, that's crazy. Human News says, I personally do not like all black on myself. It's not a neutral that complements my skin really well. I'm beige, brown, and navy girly. So do you know what's funny? Like, if you look at like color theory and color science, technically, someone of my skin tone is not supposed to wear a lot of black because I'm dark skin brown and black is too close to dark skin brown. So it doesn't provide enough contrast for there to be like a pop in color. That's like the color theory understanding of things. But nah, who cares about rules? Rules are there to be broken. But navy does look fire though. Navy is fire as hell. For the past 2 years, I've been training myself to opt for color versus black. I love it. That's cool. So everyone's kind of, you know, expanding from the black and experimenting with color. Gray, white, pink, yellow, and orange for the brothers. First. Like, for example, this jacket I'm wearing, this is just like a Stone Island jacket. So this jacket is really bright colored, so there's a massive contrast between my skin and the jacket. So people would say that, oh, it makes the contrast makes your skin pop and stuff. But if I wear black, because it's too close to my skin tone, it's kind of dull. That's what like the color theory understanding of things is. But who cares about all those rules? Who cares? Yeah, Edward Enningfors, dark skin and looks slick in all black. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't look slick in all black. I'm just saying like the color theory understanding of things is that, which is why you don't always have to follow all these rigid rules when it comes to fashion. Yeah, color theory is definitely not rubbish, but you don't have to follow all of color theory is my point. Like two things can be true at once. I'm tired of the constant repackaging of the Y2K/90s renditions comebacks. It feels like the 2020s doesn't have its own style. I can agree in a sense because I feel like I think TikTok did that. I think when I was younger, certain eras had styles because trends were so slow because social media wasn't like a thing. So when people were wearing skinny jeans, it was for a long time. When we were doing a Y2K thing, it was for a long time. I think now trends just happen faster, which is why it feels like the 2020s doesn't have its style because mobs. It's like mob wise mixed with like gorpcore, mixed with like ballet core, mixed with cottage core, mixed with it's just like bruh. How do you keep up? How do you keep up? But I think those are also like pockets. And then you also have to think of the fact that trends are cyclical. So even the 2000s, those were inspired by times before then also. And trends go and come. So even if we think that, okay, these days is a rendition of styles we've seen in the 90s and the 2000s, people that were born in the 80s will just be like, well, these are renditions of when, like, this is literally, these are the conversations that I have with my parents. Like, most things that I wear, my dad will be like, oh my God, I remember in the 80s when we used to wear this and that, and we used to wear this brand. Had to have a quick cough there. The internet feels like one big mall, and influencers are like the concession stands. Am I wrong? I guess so, in an extent. Yeah, also, we actually need to look at what people are wearing instead of looking for labels like Y2K. Yeah, I mean, true. Because once again, if you're perpetually online, not saying that this person is, by the way, I'm just saying as a point, you would think that a lot of people are like rehashing Y2K aesthetics, but then when you go outside and like see what people are wearing day to day, like outside of fashionable people in London, if I think of what are people wearing day to day, most people are just wearing plain jeans. What's the trendy shoe right now? Well, people are wearing Sambas still. So people are wearing plain jeans, Sambas, and like a North Face jacket. That's like the average like London fit for the most part. Like plain jeans, UGG boots, and a North Face jacket. Like North Face, yeah, like a Northie, like a puffer. That's like what most people are wearing. Like most people definitely aren't like wearing like the Y2K aesthetic. That's more like, Instagram niche subtrends. Also, not everything's so documented. You can find an image of whatever is cyclically back and it feels as if it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, like most people just wear Nike. Yeah, exactly. Like most people just wear like white Air Force Ones, blue jeans, and a North Face jacket. Or a Nike Tech fleece. Like tracksuit and Air Force One. That's what most people are not wearing like juicy couture and like stuff like that. I think some Gen Z people tried to hype 2000s fashion, not realizing lots of people didn't like 2000s fashion when it first happened. Reason why the 90s styles, music, and vibes been back popular. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true also. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind the scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.